do they think that this is a never-ending battle, and do they actually think that Iran is taking advantage? Israelis and the Hezbollah, they were in touch with each other and they said, we do not want escalation. Now, why is that so? Why would the other person tell the enemy that please don't escalate, and Israel also tells Hezbollah, let's not escalate? Is the Hezbollah sick and tired of Iran sending its young to their deaths in the war against Israel? What if Ismail Hania was not killed by the Israelis? What if? Think about it for a minute. Was the killing of Ismail Hania an Iranian ploy? Jai Hind friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Friends, the entire situation in the Middle East seems to have taken a turn for the worse. But there have been a few maneuvers between parties that I found very interesting, which is why the video today. I'll try and analyze what exactly is happening. It might be a bit of a surprise to you. It might also come as a bit of a shock. But first, let's get away with the news first. Let me read out the news to you. You would have already heard this in the mainstream media, but here goes. Israel launched a wave of airstrikes across southern Lebanon early on 25th August, Sunday, which was 5 a.m. local time, in what it said was a pre-emptive strike on Hezbollah. This comes after the militant group Hezbollah said it had launched hundreds of rockets and drones to avenge the killing of one of its top commanders, Fouad Shukur, last month. The Israel Defense Forces said about 100 fighter jets had struck and destroyed thousands of Hezbollah rocket launcher barrels in more than 40 areas of southern Lebanon. Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah said it had fired more than 320 Katyusha. These are Russian rockets, friends. So they fired more than 320 Katyusha rockets at 11 Israeli military bases and barracks. Katyusha rockets created by the Soviets during World War II are among the primary weapons in Hezbollah's arsenal. These are outdated, but that is what Hezbollah uses. And Katyusha rockets used by Hezbollah typically have a range of up to 20 to 40 kilometers, although some variants may reach up to 80 kilometers. After the attack by Hezbollah, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the military had eliminated thousands of rockets that were aimed at northern Israel. Whoever harms us, we will harm them. The Pentagon said that Defense Secretary Austin Lloyd spoke with his Israeli counterpart, Yoav Gallant, about Israel's defenses against Hezbollah. In a statement, Austin reaffirmed the United States' ironclad commitment to Israel's defense against any attacks by Iran and its regional partners and proxies. The United States and Israel estimate that Hezbollah has some 150,000 rockets and is capable of hitting anywhere inside Israel. Israel and the Lebanon-based group Hezbollah exchanged messages. Now this, my friends, is the icing on the cake. So apparently what has happened is Hezbollah and the Israelis exchanged messages via intermediaries. Now, who are these people? These are people in between. They are trusted by the Hezbollah, trusted by the Israelis, and whenever diplomacy fails, like it has failed right now, and one wants to convey the message to the other, this is what happens. And in order to prevent further escalation following one of the biggest exchanges of fire between the two foes in 10 months, this is how they got in touch with these intermediaries and said, all right, tell the Hezbollah that we don't want escalation. And immediately at the same time, Hezbollah told Israel, now I don't know who approached whom first, but Hezbollah also said, listen, we don't want escalation. So both the parties said, we have bombed you, you have bombed us, now we don't want escalation. Now the main message was that both sides considered Sunday's intense exchange of bombardment to be done and that neither side wants a full-scale war. One of the diplomats who's in the know of the matter said, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah said that Hezbollah had been able to carry out its attack as planned and all drones had been launched successfully, entering Israeli airspace. He also warned that the group, that is Hezbollah, would respond again if the results were deemed to not be enough. Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz said he had told dozens of his counterparts worldwide that Israel did not seek a full-scale war, but would do whatever it takes to protect our citizens. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has also warned that this is not the end after major Hezbollah and Israel missile exchange. Now, I want to analyze this for you, ladies and gentlemen, and why this is so important. Now, this entire thing about 300 plus missiles being fired by Hezbollah and 100 plus, aeroplanes going and blasting out Lebanon and taking out rocket sites and all that, this makes for excellent optics. But the news in the second last paragraph is what excites me. And what was that news? That news said pretty much that the Israelis and the Hezbollah, they were in touch with each other and they said, we do not want escalation. Now, why is that so? Why is that so? Why would the other person tell the enemy that please don't escalate, and Israel also tells Hezbollah, let's not escalate? Why is that? They want to show the world that they're firing, nobody gets killed, maybe there are a few casualties here and there, but overall there is a balance maintained in that area, if not the Middle East. Is the Hezbollah, now here is an analysis, is the Hezbollah sick and tired of Iran sending its young to their deaths in the war against Israel? Now these people have been fighting with Israel for decades and they haven't managed to take anything from Israel as yet. And Israel hits wherever Israel wants to hit. And there is nothing that the Hezbollah and Hamas can do except carry out terror attacks. Now, here is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Iran funds more than a dozen terror outfits, and Hezbollah and Hamas are the main ones, but yes, there are many other terror outfits that are funded by Iran across the Middle East. The Houthis are one, of course. Then there are others in Syria, in Yemen. You've heard of Hamas, you've heard of Hezbollah, and there are so many others. There are half a dozen in Iraq itself. So there are many, many organizations. There are some that operate on the Pakistan border along with Pakistan, Afghanistan and Iran in that area. So Iran funds all of them, and Iran tries to control diplomacy and its presence and pressure all across the Middle East through these terror outfits. Now, here is the problem. Is there a fracturing of ties between the Hezbollah and Iran? Because certainly, most certainly, Iran has not told Hezbollah to ask Israel to go slow. Iran wouldn't have said it. Why did Hezbollah take the step of telling the Israelis that, hey, hold on, we don't want to escalate? And immediately the Israelis say, we also don't want to escalate, or vice versa. As I said before, I don't know who spoke to whom before, but this was said. And this is covered by Times of Israel. It's an Israeli newspaper. So is Hezbollah actually challenging the writ of Iran? There is another theory that is doing its rounds in various circles, including social media. And that is, what if, and this is a what if Ismail Hania was not killed by the Israelis? What if? Think about it for a minute. And you know, we've always said that yes, he was killed by the Israelis and the Israelis have kept mum. They're not saying anything. But think about it. It's a what if scenario. What if Ismail Hania was not killed by the Israelis? What if Ismail Hania was actually knocked off by the Iranians? And why would the Iranians do it? You would say that he was their asset. Why would they kill their own asset? Well, they would kill their own asset. And again, this is all conjecture. I'm not saying I have any proof. I'm just analyzing because this is shocking for me. This is absolutely shocking that Hezbollah says, let's not escalate. This is shocking, right? People sworn to death in sort of killing Jews, the end of Israel, throw the Jews into the sea. This is the regular messaging that the world sees. Is there a chink in the armor? Is there a crack on the surface? And the crack is, let us assume for a minute, all assumption, hypothetical stuff, let us assume that Iran kills Ismail Hania, that this was an internal operation. Let us call it a false flag. So what happens is, Iran says, okay, kill Ismail Hania. Ismail Hania is dead. The blame goes on Israel, and then Iran says, we must take revenge. Because they also see that the Hamas challenge to Israel is flagging. The other terror outfits, they tried to get everybody together to attack Israel. It has not been successful. Yes, Hezbollah has attacked. Yes, the Houthis have been operational to a certain extent. Yes, Hamas obviously has been active because Hamas is getting hammered day in and day out. But the fact of the matter is, all the other dozen or so terror groups across the Middle East who Iran had charged with actually attacking Israel have not been able to do it properly. Was the killing of Ismail Hania an Iranian ploy to upset the entire region and again throw it into chaos? Think about it a little bit, and also think, ladies and gentlemen, why Israel would do it. Yes, Israel would do it. That is the killing of Ismail Hania, to shame Iran, to show Iran as weak and say that, hey, We could have gotten him in Turkey, we could have gotten him in Qatar, we could have knocked him off in Gaza, but we chose to kill him inside Iran. This is from the Israeli perspective, but now let's change perspective. Let's change perspective and let's say, hey, Iran kills Ismail Hania because they feel that the entire war against Israel is flagging, is going down, and Hamas no longer has the will or the weapons to fight because they're getting hammered so badly. They have not been able to attack Israel inside Israel again. They have fired rockets, no doubt. But the kind of thing that happened in October has not happened again. Israel has not allowed it. So there have been no incursions inside Israel. And what makes the headlines? Firing rockets at each other no longer makes headlines because that is common stuff there. What makes headlines is if the Hezbollah and Hamas again enter Israel and again start killing like they did in October 2023. Now that has not happened. Could that have been a message to its other proxies that you need to take revenge and this is a matter of honor, otherwise Israel will win? Was that the message? And the mere act of the Hezbollah, the mere act of saying that we do not wish to escalate, what does that mean? Does the Hamas and Hezbollah now believe that while the Iranian leadership sits peacefully and safely in Tehran, it wants all the young men of Palestine, of Lebanon to go and fight against Israel and die? Do they think that this is a never-ending battle, and do they actually think that Iran is taking advantage? It could be anything, ladies and gentlemen. But when I heard this news for the first time, it excited me and I said, I must talk to you about this and must try to analyze why in God's name would Hezbollah say to the Israelis, let's not escalate? And why would the Israelis tell the Hezbollah, we agree with you, let's not escalate? Think about it and write in the comment section what you feel. Thank you for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. And if you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.